My cousin stole my business idea and got rich. Now she wants me to be her unpaid assistant. My entire life, I have been the quiet one, the observer, the one who preferred to build worlds in my head rather than dominate conversations. This wasn't because I was shy, but because I was constantly absorbing, learning, and planning. From a young age, I was fascinated by the intersection of art and technology. I loved drawing, painting, and sculpting, but I also loved coding, understanding algorithms, and seeing how digital tools could amplify human creativity. My cousin, Chloe, on the other hand, was the quintessential golden child. Charismatic, outgoing, beautiful, and effortlessly popular. She always seemed to get what she wanted, often without having to work particularly hard for it. Our families frequently compared us, subtly at first, then more overtly. "Chloe is so vibrant, so full of life," my aunt would exclaim, casting a pointed glance in my direction, as if my quiet contemplation was a personal affront. My parents, though they tried to be supportive, often pushed me to be more like Chloe. This dynamic continued into our young adult lives. I pursued a degree in computational design, delving deep into generative art, interactive installations, and the burgeoning field of augmented reality. I spent countless nights hunched over my computer, fueled by coffee and an insatiable desire to create something truly groundbreaking. My vision was clear: an immersive art experience that blended physical spaces with digital overlays, allowing users to interact with art in a completely new way. I envisioned a platform where artists could design digital layers that would react to user movements, environmental factors, and even sound, all through a proprietary mobile application. It wasn't just about viewing art, it was about stepping into it that I poured years of my life into developing this concept. I researched tirelessly, learned new programming languages, experimented with various sensors and display technologies, and meticulously crafted a detailed business plan. I even started building a working prototype, albeit a rudimentary one, in my small apartment. I kept it largely under wraps, knowing how easily ideas could be appropriated in the tech world. However, there were a few people I trusted, or so I thought, with snippets of my dream. My best friend, Alex, who was a graphic designer, helped me visualize some of the user interfaces. And then there was Chloe. Chloe, ever the curious and seemingly supportive cousin, would occasionally drop by my apartment. She'd ask about my projects, feigning interest in the complex algorithms and design philosophies. I, foolishly, saw her as a confidant, a family member who might actually understand the depth of my ambition. I remember one evening, about 3 years ago, I was particularly excited about a breakthrough in the AR layering technology one was developing. I had managed to reduce latency significantly, making the digital overlays feel almost physically present. Overcome with enthusiasm, and perhaps a bit too much wine, I showed Chloe a detailed presentation I had prepared for potential investors. It included technical diagrams, market analysis, financial projections, and, most crucially, a comprehensive outline of my unique interactive art platform, Ether Canvas, as I called it. I explained the proprietary algorithms, the sensor integration, the vision for global expansion, and how it would revolutionize the art world. Chloe listened intently, her eyes wide, asking what I thought were insightful questions. Looking back, I realized now she wasn't asking to understand. She was asking to dissect. A few months after that fateful evening, Chloe announced she was launching a new venture. She had always been dabbling in various entrepreneurial pursuits, none of which had really taken off. This time, however, there was a different energy about her. She was secretive, almost evasive, when I asked for details. She claimed it was still in the early stages and highly confidential. I dismissed it, assuming it was another one of her fleeting enthusiasms. Then came the bombshell. About a year and a half ago, a major tech publication ran an article about a groundbreaking new company called Immersia. The article described an immersive art platform that sounded eerily, sickeningly familiar. It detailed a system that blended physical and digital art, allowed users to interact with virtual overlays in real time, and utilized proprietary augmented reality technology to create dynamic, responsive art experiences. My stomach dropped as I read through the features. It was Ether Canvas. My Ether Canvas. Every single core concept, every unique selling proposition, every innovation I had poured my soul into for years, was there. And who was the CEO? Chloe. I felt a cold dread spread through me, followed by a searing anger. It was impossible. She couldn't have. Could she? I immediately called her, my voice trembling. She answered, sounding upbeat and cheerful. "Chloe, what is this?" I demanded, referring to the article. She feigned ignorance for a moment, then, with a practiced sigh, said, "Oh, that. Yes, it's my new company. Exciting, isn't it?" Exciting. I practically shouted, "Chloe, this is my idea. My platform. You stole Ether Canvas." Her tone hardened instantly. "Stole? Don't be ridiculous. My name. Ideas are a dime a dozen. I just executed on it better than you ever would have." She then launched into a tirade about how I was too slow, too cautious, and lacked the business acumen to bring such a grand vision to life. She claimed she had been thinking about something similar for ages, and that our conversation that night was merely confirmation that the market was ripe for such a product. She even had the audacity to suggest that I was trying to diminish her success out of jealousy. I was devastated, not just by the theft, but by the casual cruelty of her words. She had not only stolen my intellectual property, but she was twisting the narrative, making me out to be the villain. My family, predictably, sided with Chloe. She's so ambitious. She's always been a go-getter. You should be proud of her. My name. She's making waves. They brushed aside my accusations, suggesting I was simply bitter that Chloe had succeeded where I had only dreamed. My parents, caught in the middle, tried to mediate, but even they seemed swayed by Chloe's polished narrative and the undeniable success of Immersia, and success she did have. Within months, Immersia became a sensation. Major art galleries partnered with her, investors flocked, and the company's valuation soared. Chloe, once just a popular socialite, was now a celebrated tech entrepreneur, featured in magazines and invited to speak at conferences. She became fabulously wealthy, buying a lavish penthouse, a luxury sports car, and throwing extravagant parties. Each article, each social media post about her success felt like a punch to my gut. It was a constant, public reminder of what had been stolen from me that I considered legal action, but my limited funds and the complexity of intellectual property law in this nascent field made it seem like an insurmountable battle. I consulted a lawyer who told me that without concrete evidence of a non-disclosure agreement or a clear paper trail proving she directly copied my unique code, which I hadn't filed patents for yet, another grave mistake, it would be an uphill battle, expensive and emotionally draining, with no guarantee of success. The thought of fighting my own cousin, potentially tearing the family apart even further, also weighed heavily on me. So, I retreated. I continued to work on my own projects, but the spark, the unbridled passion, had dimmed. It was hard to innovate when the fear of being plagiarized again loomed over me. Fast forward to about 6 months ago. I had just landed a modest freelance contract, designing an interactive exhibit for a local museum. It wasn't my dream, but it was a step in the right direction, and it was my own. I was finally starting to feel a flicker of my old self, a sense of quiet accomplishment. Then came the email that IT was from Chloe. Subject line, exciting opportunity. My heart pounded with a mix of dread and morbid curiosity. I opened it. The email was long, filled with corporate jargon and overly enthusiastic platitudes. She congratulated me on my obvious talent, a backhanded compliment if there ever was one, considering she had built her empire on my talent. She then went on to explain that Immersia was expanding rapidly and needed top-tier creative talent to develop new experiences. She specifically mentioned my unique eye for blending digital and physical aesthetics, a direct echo of the very qualities she had dismissed when she stole my idea. Their exciting opportunity? She wanted me to join Immersia as a creative development assistant. The title itself was a slap in the face. Assistant. To her, the person who had stolen my life's work that I read on, my blood boiling. The email detailed the responsibilities, assisting senior designers in conceptualizing new interactive art installations, prototyping ideas, and even troubleshooting existing AR frameworks. Troubleshooting her existing AR frameworks, which were built on my foundational work. The compensation was vague, competitive for a junior role, she wrote. A junior role. For the creator of the very concepts that made her company a multi-million-dollar enterprise. She even had the audacity to add, "This is a chance to finally see your ideas come to life on a grand scale, something you always wanted, right?" My ideas did come to life on a grand scale, Chloe. Through you. I couldn't believe her gall. Not only did she steal my entire business, get fabulously rich off it, and then dismiss my pain, but now she wanted me to work for her. As an assistant. For what would undoubtedly be a paltry salary compared to the fortune she was raking in. She wanted me to be a cog in her machine, a silent contributor to her stolen empire, essentially paying me pennies to maintain the very thing she had pilfered. It was an insult of epic proportions. It felt like she was not just asking for my labor, but for my complete subjugation, an acknowledgement that she was superior, and I was merely a tool to be used that I didn't respond immediately. I sat with the email open on my screen for hours, the words burning into my retina. The rage, which had been simmering for over a year, threatened to boil over. But beneath the rage was a profound sadness. Sadness for the loss of my dream, for the fractured family relationships, and for the realization that some people truly have no moral compass. That I finally decided to address it, not with anger, but with a cold, clear defiance. I crafted a response that was polite, professional, and utterly devoid of the emotional turmoil I was experiencing. Dear Chloe, I wrote, thank you for reaching out with this opportunity. I appreciate you thinking of me. However, after careful consideration, I must respectfully decline your offer. My current freelance work and personal projects are taking me in a different direction, and I am not seeking employment at this time. I wish you and Amersha continued success. I didn't mention the theft. I didn't accuse her. I simply refused, asserting my independence and the validity of my own path, however small it seemed in comparison to her gilded empire. I hit send, feeling a strange mix of liberation and lingering bitterness. Chloe, being Chloe, didn't take the refusal gracefully. Within an hour, my phone rang. It was her. Her voice, usually so perfectly modulated, was laced with irritation. What do you mean, you decline? She demanded. This is an incredible opportunity. My name. Do you have any idea how many people would kill for a position at Amersha? I understand, Chloe, I said, keeping my voice steady and calm, a stark contrast to her rising volume. But it's not the right fit for me. Not the right fit. We are the biggest name in interactive art. And you, with your unique vision, you could be a part of it. You could contribute to something massive. I am contributing to something, Chloe, I replied. Something I'm building myself. She scoffed. Building yourself? Come on, my name. Let's be realistic. You're working on small museum gigs. This is the big league. This is where your ideas can actually matter. The implication was clear. My ideas only mattered when she was profiting from them. My ideas matter to me, Chloe, regardless of scale, I said. And I prefer to work on projects where my contributions are valued and my intellectual property is respected. I let that hang in the air for a moment. It was the closest I had come to directly accusing her, and I could practically feel her flinch through the phone line. There was a pause, a moment of uncharacteristic silence from her. Then, her tone shifted. It became saccharine, almost pitying. Look, my name. I know you're still a little sensitive about Amersha, but you have to move past it. This is a chance to bury the hatchet, to work together as family. It's not about burying the hatchet, Chloe, I said, my voice finally betraying a hint of the frustration bubbling beneath the surface. It's about principles. And I can't work for someone who built their success on a foundation of dishonesty, especially when that dishonesty directly impacted me. The line went dead. She had hung up. My refusal, however, seemed to have consequences I hadn't anticipated. The family dynamic, already strained, became even more toxic. Chloe started spreading rumors that I was unstable, jealous, and unprofessional. She told our relatives that I had burnt bridges and was too difficult to work with. My parents, once again caught in the crossfire, urged me to make amends with Chloe, not understanding that there was no making amends when one party refused to acknowledge their wrongdoing. They saw my refusal as stubbornness, a rejection of a generous olive branch, rather than a stand for my own integrity. Christmas dinner last year was particularly excruciating. Chloe arrived, dripping in designer clothes and flashing an enormous diamond ring. Apparently, she had just gotten engaged to a wealthy investor she met through Amersha. She held court, regaling everyone with stories of her latest triumphs, her upcoming IPO, and the celebrities who were now using her platform. Every compliment directed at her, every awestruck gaze from our relatives, felt like another sting. I sat quietly, picking at my food, trying to make myself invisible. Then, my aunt, Chloe's mother, turned to me with a saccharine smile. So, my name, she purred. I hear Chloe offered you a wonderful position at Immersia. Such a generous offer, considering everything. It's a shame you didn't take it. You know, sometimes you have to put family first, even if you have creative differences. I looked directly at my aunt, then at Chloe, who was watching me with a smug smirk. Aunt, I said, my voice clear and steady, I choose to work on projects that align with my values. And I prefer to build my own legacy, rather than contribute to someone else's, especially when that legacy was built on something that wasn't entirely theirs to begin with. The room went silent. Chloe's smirk vanished, replaced by a flash of genuine anger. My aunt's face flushed. My parents shifted uncomfortably. It was the first time I had openly challenged the narrative in such a public family setting. Chloe, recovering quickly, laughed, a high, brittle sound. Oh, my name. Still with the conspiracy theories? Honestly, it's getting a bit tiresome. Maybe you should focus less on what could have been and more on what is. What is, I retorted, meeting her gaze, is that you are a very successful businesswoman, Chloe, and I am proud to be forging my own path, whatever its scale. There's enough room in the world for both of us to succeed, without one of us having to borrow from the other. The tension was palpable. My father quickly changed the subject, attempting to diffuse the situation, but the damage was done. From that day forward, the already strained relationship with Chloe and her immediate family became a Cold War. I was largely excluded from family gatherings, or if I was invited, I felt like an outsider, an anomaly in their carefully constructed world of Chloe's triumph. Despite the family drama, there was a strange sense of empowerment that came with standing my ground. I realized that my integrity, my self-respect, was more valuable than any peace I could buy by sacrificing it. I continued to work on my freelance projects, slowly but surely building a reputation for myself in a niche corner of the interactive art world. It was a quieter path, less glamorous than Chloe's, but it was mine. Then, just a couple of months ago, something entirely unexpected happened. An old university professor, who had always been a mentor figure to me, reached out. He had heard whispers of my original Ether Canvas concept from another former student and was impressed by what he learned. He had also been following Immersia's rise and, being deeply embedded in the academic and tech art community, was aware of the rumors circulating about Chloe's less-than-original inception. He told me he was putting together a grant proposal for a major research initiative focused on ethical innovation in interactive art, and he wanted me to be a key researcher on the project. The grant, if approved, would provide significant funding and resources, allowing me to finally develop my original concepts, properly protected this time, within a supportive academic environment. It was an opportunity to not only reclaim my ideas, but to do so with the backing of a respected institution, away from the cutthroat corporate world. It was an opportunity to build Ether Canvas, or something even better, on my own terms that I accepted, of course. The project is still in its early stages, but the sense of hope and renewed purpose is invigorating. I am working with brilliant minds, all committed to ethical practices and pushing the boundaries of creativity. It's not about revenge, not anymore. It's about validation, about proving to myself, and perhaps eventually to the world, that genuine innovation and integrity will always find a way to flourish, even in the shadow of stolen success. Chloe's empire continues to grow, but I hear through the grapevine that she's facing increasing pressure to constantly innovate, to come up with truly new concepts, and she's reportedly struggling. It turns out that while she's a master at marketing and presentation, the well of original ideas isn't as deep when you're not the one who dug it. I also hear that a few key developers have left Immersia, frustrated by the company's internal politics and the constant pressure for newness without genuine creative freedom. It seems that a company built on a stolen foundation, however shiny, might not be as stable as it appears. I haven't heard from Chloe since that phone call. Our family remains fractured, but I found a new sense of peace in my work and in the knowledge that I stood firm when it mattered most. My path might be longer, and certainly less flashy, but it is unequivocally my own. And that, to me, is worth more than all the stolen riches in the world.